This debt payoff method is so powerful, it should probably be illegal. Most people are told to just make minimum payments and wait the 30 years. That advice could cause you thousands of dollars in interest until you find a different way, right? So this is a 3-step system that flips the script. It's fast, it's sneaky, and it makes your money work like a weapon. Here's exactly how it works and why the banks don't want you to use it. Let's dive in. All right, so as is the custom, we want to make sure that you know exactly what we're doing here. I know a lot of people, they look at the numbers and are like, oh, I don't get paid that much. And oh, I don't have that amount of line of credit, but it's not about the numbers. It's all about the principle. You'll see what I mean. Income, $5,000, expenses, $4,300, which leaves you with a cash flow of what? $700. Now, a lot of people, they have that $700, they save the $700, or they just say, hey, I got $700. I want to buy this with it, I want to buy that with it. But may I suggest to you another way to spend that cash flow? You can actually have a line of credit, right? And actually chunk your cash flow sucking debt, whatever that is. Most likely it's going to be a car loan, maybe a personal loan, maybe a title loan, whatever it is. I'm not judging, not being critical. I just want that loan paid down just like you. I want it paid off fast. And so what you can do is use your line of credit, if you have one, chunk it $700, and you'll probably be like, well, why would I do that? Let me show you by the numbers why you should do that. Let's say that cash flow sucking debt is $10,000, right? Most likely a loan at 10%. Well, you're paying $83 a month on that $10,000 loan versus $77 a month on that loan. Now you may say, CJ, that's 23 cents a day versus 21 cents a day. And the 77 and 83, that's a $6 difference. Why does that matter? Well, because banks use every penny against you. And with this method, it's using every penny for you. And remember, $6 difference is still $72 for the entire year. Think about it. So at this stage, what we want you to do now is redirect those interest payments. I'm going to show you how it's done. Now, this is a new math formula. We're going to be putting it on t-shirts pretty soon. And I want you to catch a hold of this, all right? Let's go. The HELOC, or whatever line of credit you have, okay, that's very important. Let's say if the HELOC at $10,000 at 9%. If you use that $10,000 to chunk the $200,000 mortgage, it's going to now have that 6% off of $190,000 instead of the $200,000. So what is that going to equal? That is going to equal $43,000, over $43,000 in interest saved because you have taken out $10,000 from this principal, okay? Remember, the interest feeds off of what? The principal. So the bigger the principal, the bigger the interest, but the smaller the principal, the smaller the interest, okay? You're going to be saving over $43,000, and that's over the life of the loan. If you just chunked it one time, right? Perhaps you got nervous and was like, you know what? You don't have the Money Max account, right? And you got nervous, right? And you just did it one time, you would still save over $43,000. Now, I know the question then becomes, well, CJ, I still have the HELOC balance that I have to take care of. What are we going to do there? I'm glad you asked, all right? $10,000 at, remember that cash flow of $700? That's right. We're going to go ahead and put our $700, we're going to be using that line of credit as our new checking account. So that $700 is staying in there, doing what? To the HELOC balance. It's paying it down month after month until after 15 months, approximately 15 months, you can then replenish, okay, that $10,000 has then been replenished and you can use it over and over and over again. Listen, if you had the choice to get rid of a debt, which would it be? Go ahead and comment below, all right? So this is what we want you to do. We want you to get the vision of redirecting your interest, because once you do this, and you do this on a pretty regular basis, in this example, every 15 months, you're going to see that you're actually switching out the $3,000 to $4,000 in interest that you're saving, right, by using the $10,000 in your HELOC. Now, the HELOC does have, what, $500 to $600 in interest, but compared to $3,000 to $4,000 saved on the mortgage, is that something that you're willing to do? Let's go to the last one. Okay, so the last thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we are leveraging our pay cycles. Now, keep this in mind. This HELOC is at is at 9%, whereas our first example of the HELOC, that was at the 10% mark, okay? So the math, of course, is going to be different on this one. This at the 9%, $75 each and every month, all right? That's what you get, all right, with interest. However, if we make sure that on the 1st and the 15th, we utilize our debt weapon called the line of credit, this is the difference that could make, right? We have the $2,500 inside of the HELOC. That's going to reduce it to $7,500, right, at that 9%, which means what? $56.25, all right? We can go ahead and round it up to 57. You're gonna go ahead and round it up to 60. Why not round it up to 65? It's still less than 75. Now remember, that's monthly. Now, how much are you going to save per year? Because monthly you're saving $19, roughly $19. How much are you gonna save per year, right? $228.19 multiplied by 12. And so remember, you get paid bi-weekly, $2,500 on the 1st, $2,500 on the 15th. Remember, that balance is going down, and of course it's going up with those expenses, but how much is getting left over, that's going to be up to you. And as you continue to leave that much left over, guess what you don't have to worry about anymore? Minimum monthly payments. Now, those that have the Money Max account, we are automatically doing this. We don't have to do the math. Don't have to spend 10 to 15 minutes in doing the math and perhaps doing it over because we don't understand, right? We are already making sure that our mortgages, our car loans are paid off the correct way, all right? Would you like a little bit of how we're doing that? All right, so basically, what we're doing here is, okay, we're getting paid on the 1st, right? So what the machine does when we put in the income, we put in the debts, the expenses, it simply lets us know, CJ, you need to start moving money from your checking or savings account to your Visa card on this date, okay? It also tells me how much I need to move on this date. Let's say I gotta move $500 to the Visa card. Now, why would I take heed to that? Well, because it understands balance and timing, right? That's what it's all about, folks. It's about balance and timing. Whenever you're doing debt payments, if you haven't caught anything that I said, please remember this: balance and timing. As long as you have a positive cash flow, you can use that positive cash flow to get out of negative debt. And I've got to say that again. As long as you have positive cash flow, you can use that to get out of negative debt, that bad debt. And remember, when you're out of debt, this is something Joey would say all the time, CJ, you're still at ground zero, right? So you still gotta build up to that. So if you are having trouble building up to outside of ground zero, you don't know where to start, you don't know where to look. We do have clients, and even recently, more and more clients being led to passive income. They're looking for opportunities now that they see their line of credit in a much different way. So what I want to do is I want to leave you with these formulas, okay? When you're talking about the line of credit balance, you want to make sure you know your velocity term. So how you figure that is take your line balance and you divide it by your cash flow, okay? That's going to give you your velocity term. Now, let's say you have multiple loans and you don't know which one to pay off first. I mean, you've heard from this one to target the minimum payments, right? So you have that psychological push. You've been told by others to target the high interest payments, but you'll be told by CJ to do the math, all right? Let's go ahead and give you the cash flow indicator. That way you don't have to take my word for it. You can take the math for it, all right? Line balance or loan balance, okay? Divided by your minimum monthly payment. That's going to give you a number. Now, if that number is between 0 and 50, remember you are in the danger zone. If that number is between 51 to 99, that is the caution zone. That's where you can actually restructure the debt. You can refinance, right? You can talk to the bank and say, hey, you know, I've been good. Could you please cut me some slack so I can get some more cash flow, right? Whatever it is you need to do. But if it's 100 and above, like mortgages are, you don't have to worry about that payment unless you just want to go ahead and have those bragging rights and have that, what was it, $1,200 a month. Some have $2,600 a month for their mortgage, $3,000, $4,000 a month flowing into their bank account versus the bank's bank account, all right? We want you to make sure that you are prioritizing your loans the correct way. This here, inefficient loan. That there, efficient loan, all right? And that's how we do it, by the math, not by the story. Folks, if you have any questions on cash flow, please let me know. And check out this video where we go into more detail on how you can pay off the house, the car loan in much less time and how the banks want you to do it. God bless you, and we'll see you soon.